Happy Thanksgiving and welcome to this week's auctions ending anywhere between the 29th Black Friday of November and the 1st of December Sunday. Now we're going to be doing something a little bit different in this one. Rather than just focus on auctions, I also wanted to highlight a few people who are going to be having sales and a new app that's out there that maybe we'll go into further detail in the future, but today I do want to at least highlight it because let's face it, it's not going to be about the auctions quite as much this week, although there are some great auctions. It's going to be quite a bit more about the specials and deals. So quite frankly, just looking at the deals section on Morphmarket or going to your favorite breeder's page, and you can kind of see things like this where it has it scratched off and you get a different deal right now. There are a lot of deals for ball pythons, and when I mean a lot, I mean the 152 pages or 3,630 currently. So we will not be going by each and every single one of these. And before we get started, I do want to apologize. I am getting over a cold, so if that shows up in the video in terms of the way I sound, that would be why. Without waiting any further, we'll get right into it with this Orange Stream Cryptic Ultramel. Now, I am a Monarch guy myself, but I don't get into the whole back and forth between anti-Ultramel. I'm not anti-Ultramel. I love Ultramel. Quite frankly, I think it is a very different looking gene. But this boy here is really cool. Being an Orange Stream Cryptic, there's a little bit of extra power there. And Cryptic is a gene that I would say a lot of people still don't know about. It's a gene that is related to the clown gene. You can kind of see that in regards to the head stamp and everything like there. You do have a lot of action with the head, and there is some pattern changes here. One of the coolest things I think about Cryptics is the eye stripe here is just kind of broken up. You see it's not connected. Breaks here, and is a little bit thinner. It is also allelic with clown. So you could breed this to a female Ultramel clown and you would get Ultramels and you would get 100% Kryptons. It's a combo that is really cool, and really what it results in is the eye strips is very, very, very thin and sometimes a little disconnected here, but it's usually just very thin. And then there's head pattern there too, and a pattern disruption and a pattern change as well. They're very cool and very unique, and you can make something cool and unique with this male. I think he's got a lot of potential in there. And even if you're into the clown Ultramels, this Cryptic, since it is allelic, could slot right in with you and work out pretty flawlessly and make some really cool, unique looking animals. The Orange Stream just being a cool little bonus there, adding that little bit of flair, a little bit of lightening it up and everything like that. Everybody knows I kind of like the darker side of things too, but it doesn't mean I don't appreciate the light ones. And this one's very crisp and cool, and I really like it. If you're into Ultramel and you've got something that works with clown, even if it's a het clown girl, that would still work because it's always passing one copy of Cryptic on, so you'd know everything would be het Cryptic unless you hit a Krypton, in which case you knew that you also passed on that clown gene. I think it's definitely a good boy for somebody to use in their collection. Moving right along to this female banana Enchi clown that's 66% het pied. You definitely want to send in a shed test to RGI for this one. It would be a really cool one because banana clowns are cool, banana pieds are cool, so why not just combine them? On top of that, the Enchi kind of brings in that pattern on pied, so you'd get something that still had a little bit more pattern on it, which I really like. I kind of like the higher pattern ones, and when you get clown and pied together anyways, sometimes I notice a lot of them really are kind of high white, low pattern, and I kind of like the higher pattern. I do like the white being existent though, but this girl here could be a great addition for so many different reasons. I mean, just a banana clown that's going for this cheap anyways, a female at that is really ideal. Having a female banana clown in your collection, they sell quite well. Now that the price has come down, especially for the males, when you get those, they're going to sell to both breeders and to pet owners alike because they're kind of in that range now. This will definitely go up, but I would be surprised, honestly, to see it break 500, but I guess it could. It just looks really gorgeous, honestly, anyways. With the female as well, you're producing more like the normal way a banana would work. If you don't know, males are a little trickier. You can sometimes get a female maker, which is nice, because you pretty much produce all females, all but, you know, the genetic anomaly of about 5% is what I hear. And then the male makers are probably the more common ones, and they produce pretty much all males for the banana gene anyways. When you hit that banana gene, it's wild how that happens that way. And then, by the way, everything that isn't banana is usually the opposite gender. So if it was a female maker, they're all males. If it was a male maker, they're all females. Everything that's not banana. It's wild. It's absolutely crazy how you can pretty much gender the entire clutch just by looking at what you got, if it was banana or not. With that said, we actually got crazy odds this year and got a banana pied male maker, and he produced 2 females. The odds on that are just crazy, but still a really cool animal. And one of the core animals that got a lot of people into this hobby, I would say, was the banana clowns of some sort. Here's another one we showed off on our auctions. 2 of them to be exact, and that would be this super blackhead het Ultramel 50% het clown, and this super blackhead yellow belly het Ultramel 50% het clown. And I still can't decide which one I like better. You know, I think this one has something to say about it. It's just a little bit, I don't know. I think that one's still got a little bit darkerness to it, but maybe that's just my eyes playing tricks on me. But they're both really cool, phenomenal ones. The only thing here is that one's a female and one is a male. So I would have to guess that these are siblings, just considering this is from the exact same breeder, and the description says that the pairing was exactly the same. So it's very highly likely, unless he made 2 of the exact same pairings from 2 different parents. Not that you can't get both of them and breed them together. That is fine in reptiles. You can have a little bit of inbreeding them. It does not affect the animal the way that it does with mammals. They're a little bit more simple in terms of their genetic makeup, I believe, is what it comes down to. I could be wrong in that, but the fact remains that as long as you're not doing it like a crazy amount of generations, you are perfectly fine. In fact, quite often to get new combos, new genes that are just being discovered, you kind of have to. There's literally no other option to do that. There's obviously going to be some genetic overlap when you're creating a new gene. You try to avoid it where you can, I'd say. But either way, let's talk about these animals. The super blackhead is guaranteed to pass on 1 copy of the blackhead. The het Ultramel is really nice if you're working Ultramel. Maybe you go back to getting this boy here and put them to both of them. That would be pretty darn nice, considering that it's cryptic. It would always pass on 1 copy of the cryptic gene, and if these do prove out as het clown, you'd be creating some kryptons right here. Blackhead, possibly yellow belly, orange dream, Ultramel, kryptons. That would be pretty darn neat. And I think you could do it on a budget. Well, I guess not the yellow belly for that one, because the boy's not going to breed to the boy. But you could still get the super blackhead OD Ultramel krypton. So pretty cool. I think that this would be neat. I'd immediately send these in if you got either one of them for a shed test. And you know what? I try to call it out when I see it, but the shipping is free on that too. So that's pretty cool in and of itself. You're getting free shipping. That's a big time bonus in my opinion. You just buy it and you don't have to worry about adding anything extra to it. Next up from Brock Wagner Reptiles would be this triple het Desert Ghost Clown Pied pair. So you get a male and a female, you can put them together and possibly get that incredibly rare and awesome combo. Again, shipping is free. This would be pretty neat to do. Now you're looking at these, maybe you see this and you're just like, I don't see what you see here. These are just a bunch of hets though, so they hide their potential underneath their skin, and their potential is, well, basically this. In fact, this is it right here. You can see, kindly being modeled by Justin from Canova, is the Desert Ghost Clown Pied, and it is so incredible. It is bright, it is clean, it is creamy, and it is orange with beautiful black highlights going through it. Absolutely incredible looking animal. But you see the potential for something like that to hit that, and you might think like that's pretty rare odds there, and you would be right, of course, because your odds of hitting it would be 1 out of 64 or about 2%. However, your odds of hitting a visual of some sort are much higher than that. In fact, the most common combo that you will hit is the triple 66% het. But when you combine a visual amount up together, 14, 14, and 14, you still have very good odds to hit a visual of some sort, with the possibility of each of these hets coming along from the ride. And even hitting a double with the 66% het is about 15% when you combine it all together. So there's still a decent chance that you hit a double. So basically, I guess what I'm saying is that you can hold back what you get, especially if you manage to luck out and get a double. You get a double visual, you send that in for a test, and if you get lucky and get that as a het, then you keep that, and then you've increased your odds even more. You hopefully get a boy so that you can breed that back into your triple het girl, and there you go. Then you start increasing your odds. Suddenly, let's just say you get a double het boy clown pied. Now your odds of hitting the triple het has gone up to 1 out of 16 rather than 1 out of 64. So yes, you do have to put some time into it, but an animal like that is very well worth the time. Coming in next would be this Mardigras Het Pied from Ball Python Shed. A really nice girl if you want to start working the highways, or you are working highways. This would be a great way to do it. Pick this girl up and grow her out, because she just adds more fuel to the fire in terms of what you're going to be able to create. Having that Het Pied is also an extra bonus to be able to create freeway pieds. Again, this is just a wonderful combo, one that works quite well with Pastel. In fact, Mardigras Pastels are some of the absolute most beautiful snakes I've seen ever. They are absolutely gorgeous. The purples and everything that come in there, those vibrant colors all throughout it, are absolutely amazing. You get these like crazy whites coming up. It's just really gorgeous. It's a really nice one to get if you want to start working freeways. Freeways are always going to be really, really popular. The Mardigras being one of the more popular ones amongst them, with just the amount of craziness that goes on it. There's always going to be a market for this animal, whether it be pet or breeder. Next, we'll be talking about this Pastel Lace Yellow Belly boy here. Well started at 402 grams, which is really nice considering the fact that you probably would not keep this boy for terribly long in most cases. The reason being is that most of the time people are in this with a recessive game in mind. For better or for worse, that is kind of the case. You know, definitely working this into some sort of recessive, whether it be clown pied, hey, maybe Ultramel, Monarch. There's a lot of different avenues with lace, but lace is absolutely incredible. It's an enhancement gene. It's a subtle gene by itself for sure, but when it starts getting put into combos, it is much, much nicer. Often you sometimes get some of these whiter sides. It's easier to see, especially as they grow, as a pastel yellow belly usually is not this vibrant and beautiful. You can kind of see the whites coming up through here. Very nice, but ideally you want to create hets with him. You're going to want to pair him and hopefully get the yellow belly along for the ride too, because that's a really nice gene in pretty much anything. But you want to create your hets and then probably move on from him once you've recreated him, but with a het also in the mix. Just to kind of show him off, you probably won't go for a whole bunch. The price is very right, and the shipping is very free. So I guess that's what I'm getting at, is that sometimes you can do this. You have a stopgap male, he's with you, and he helps you get kind of to an area where maybe you didn't think you'd be able to, so that you can start creating some beautiful clown laces yourself, or pied laces, or however you want to go about it. Something that normally might be a little bit more expensive, and you're able to do it on a better budget, I suppose. Not for everyone, because some people might immediately want this with a het, and that's fine, but this is for somebody who might be wanting to get lace into their collection really bad, but doesn't want to spend a crazy amount. This boy, honestly, he'll probably be ready pretty soon. He's 402 grams, so he's a little too young right now. But I can see him being ready in 3 or 4 months if he takes off eating. It's a possibility anyways, and I'd say very likely in 6 months. But he could do that for you, and he could create some animals for you that kind of puts you at the level you would like to be if you didn't have the money to just buy into it. Before we go any further, I do want to call out a few Hognoses, starting with this bigger girl that's 145 grams. It is a triple recessive that is also purple line and extreme red, which are both polygenic traits. Polygenic traits are really, really cool and prevalent in Hognoses. Being a het albino and het sable, that means it's basically het sunburst is what the combo is. And then sunbursts are really nice and bright animals, which we'll get into and show here at the end of our Hognose segment. But a really cool girl if you want to just jump straight into it. This girl will go for more. I can easily see this breaking 1,000, and quite frankly, I would be surprised if it does not break 1,000, but it would be very well worth it to jump into this with basically a much closer to ready breed animal than you're ever going to really find in here from a quality breeder, with JMG at that. Next would be this Super Yeti, which is also likely Arctic, is what they're saying. It does have a reserve price. Yeti is a Superconda albino exanthic, and what you get is basically a white snake with red eyes. Very beautiful and awesome. The only really deviation behind white are the eyes and the belly, which is this purplish type color. Wish that they'd show more of the belly. Honestly, I really like bellies on Hognoses. They're incredible. The probability that she might be in Arctic as well is very cool. So whatever that reserve price is, I like saying bid up in increments to where you're comfortable. So just for an example, let's say you're comfortable at 700. You don't just type 700 in here because you're going to feel pretty silly if you found out that maybe it was at $500 and you overbid quite a substantial amount. So maybe you bid it up in $25 increments until you reach that amount, and then if it does reach that amount, or if it drops off beforehand, you stop. You know, you don't want to pay more than you have to. But then if it doesn't reach that reserve amount and you've reached your kind of bottom line, you can just stop right there, even if you quote unquote win the auction. And you don't, because it just voids out the auction since that reserve price was not met. Another one here from JMG would be this third generation Purple Line Extreme Red Lemon Ghost. So basically you've got Purple Line Lemon Ghost. I think the Extreme Red too was just left off by mistake. So this boy has a lot of polygenic traits kind of going for him. He could definitely breed into maybe some of those hets. It would especially work quite well with albino, which is about my favorite thing when it comes to hognoses. They're so darn vibrant, but he could be a pretty powerful breeder in terms of creating your own little army of very beautiful animals that are popping a lot more than other people's, quite frankly. I mean, you can see this does not look like a normal hognose. It almost looks like it has a morph to it just because of how beautiful it is. And for our final hognose would be this Sunburst here. Very, very nice. I love the Sunburst. It's just so bright and vibrant. I would argue, and probably most people would agree, that at least right now, the Sunburst is probably the most popular of the hognose morphs. You get these just incredible, like orangish reds coming through. The coloring underneath almost like a lavenderish, sprinkled with some oranging of itself. So cool and so beautiful. I can't wait till we can start creating hognoses and kind of bringing some of that to you too in some of the content we share. All right, back into the bull pythons. We're almost done in terms of showing what we're going to show for auctions for the day, but we were looking at this Stranger Fire clown that's possible Redstripe. I would argue that, yeah, I think it's Redstripe. I mean, I don't know what else would be bringing in this oranging. I mean, yeah, Stranger can kind of do that, I guess, but with fire and whatnot too, I'm pretty certain this is Redstripe. I know that Stranger can make it a little harder with Redstripe, but just the orangey undertones going down to the belly, I would say this is Redstripe. So being a female, this is a pretty powerful breeder in my opinion. I don't know what this will go for. I think it will be quite worth it. Stranger clowns are so nice. They're so beautiful, and they've only just recently started being pumped out, so you're seeing them a little bit more often. So there's still a lot of ways to go in terms of the combos that can be created with this. Getting Stranger into everything, into the bigger combos, will obviously take some time, just kind of the way it works. So having one that's so well started, that looks so darn beautiful, with so much power to it, is definitely a big boon. I think this is a pretty good deal. With just under 2 days left, I'd be very interested to see what this goes for. I think it will get a lot more interest near the end. I'm surprised it doesn't have more already. Moving right along to this Cypress Hidden Gene Woma clown. I love the Cypress gene. It was made for clown. It's so beautiful. Not that it doesn't work with other things. It obviously does, but its pattern and everything like that is just so nice. It honestly reminds me a lot of what the pattern does on Mojave, but without the tone change, the color change with the whites and whatnot. Instead, you get a little more of an orangey tinge. It's super cool, super nice. Honestly, I'm starting to come around to Hidden Gene Woma. I know that some people don't like it. It is part of the spider family. I won't lie that I don't know about the potential for wobble, but a lot of that has now been proven to not be a neurological thing so much as an inner ear deformity anymore. But either way, if that is something that doesn't bother you, this is a beautiful looking animal. And being a female at that, if it did bother you a little bit, that's the way to do it. Don't breed a spider in the males, because then you're breeding it to a bunch of females, right? You know, you breed it just one time a year, it's not as big of a deal because you're not hitting it every time anyway. But Cypress is really cool and really worth it. I don't think this will go for a whole bunch. I really don't. And there's still a lot of cool potential here. These snakes are nice and orange and crisp, and I've started to see some really cool combos with Hidden Gene Woma. I won't lie, tell you that I don't know the first thing about really what it does. I know it can be part of like the Soul Sucker combos, which I've seen those and they look really cool, but Cypress is where my mind goes anyways. I think it's a really neat gene, and I think it was made for clown, and if the price is right, I think this would be a great addition to a lot of people's collection. From Rubber City Royals would be this Enchi Orange Dream Het Pied 50% Het Desert Ghost. And man, this is a really nice animal for just being two things, Enchi OD. It looks like there's a reason for that, and it's because Rubber City Royals deals in quality, and their male, the Super Orange Dream, came from Bob's Balls, and their female came from Canova, so that would make a lot of sense. It looks like Yellow Belly and Gene X were also in that mix on the side. I wouldn't be surprised at all to find that maybe Gene X came along. Again, I'm not an expert in that one. I don't work it myself. But I guess all I'm saying is this is a really nice, incredible animal. Being het pied in a female, this would be a really cool one to work some of those really nice orangey pieds. And on a budget too, this is a really good price at 0 bids. The fact that this is also 50% het desert ghost is chef's kiss, because I would send this in immediately for a shed test. And if she proved out, wow. I mean, if you've seen some of the crazy desert ghost pied combos that you can get, this would make them for sure, because it already is glowing and beautiful. The genetics are there to show you everything you need to see, and it's so beautiful. I think that whoever wins this is going to get a steal. If you're into desert ghost and pied, get yourself a good male. You know, if you get a visual one, that's even better. Add some of these things, add some extra genetics in there, like maybe get the yellow belly back in there and whatnot, and I think you'll be cooking. If you hit that double visual, you will be a very, very happy individual. And for our last one, well, I got a picture to show you, unfortunately, and that's because it's a 9 snake wholesale lot from Jersey Guy Balls. So we're gonna click here and let you see. For the males, there is a het sunset, 3 clowns, and 1 triple het sunset clown pied. Now we showed you that one earlier, so you already know the potential that can get. And for the females, you get a clown, a pastel spot nose het clown, and a pastel special spot nose het clown. So what I like to show these ones for is maybe you can get on this with a buddy, because obviously there's a lot of males here. Nobody's that many clowns typically, but you can put this in with a few people maybe even, and kind of split it. So maybe everybody pays a little bit amount. You agree. If you win, then you can kind of divvy it up that way. But yeah, I think that for the right person, this could be a potential way to get into a lot of different things. It's too bad that there's not a het sunset girl, you know, to maybe go along with some of that sunset gene you're getting. But either way, a cool opportunity. If the right person comes along, there's enough in there that I think that it justifies it, because I don't think this will go for a lot, quite frankly. So that'll do it for our auctions. However, we are not done yet. So now we're going to talk about a few of the sales that we're seeing that are going to happen on Black Friday, and starting with Royal Constrictor Designs. Royal Constrictor Designs is going to be doing a 50% off Black Friday sale on their website. You use the promo code SALE50 at checkout at royalconstrictordesigns.com, and you get 50% off. He has a whole cool website here that you can kind of see everything. Click on things that you want. Like I like the blackheads, for example, so we click there. We can see all the sorts of blackheads that he has available. Look at that beautiful banana blackhead. But just to think that this will all be 50% off tomorrow. So whatever you're seeing, you're going to be able to get it for half the price. Not a bad sale at all, if I do say so myself. Every single year, Garrick does one of these that's similar like this, and every single year I think that people should definitely take a look and see if anything suits your fancy. There's quite a bit up there, and I think that maybe he's working on adding a bit more before it hits, in fact. But that starts, actually, by the time you're seeing this, it has already started. You can go and check that out right now. A couple other ones that aren't for ball pythons would be Tiki's Geckos. Tiki's Geckos is offering a sale where you can get 50% off on crested geckos and gargoyle geckos, including on blue tongue skinks, and 20% off every single thing else on their website. If you like geckos, especially gargoyle geckos and whatnot, they have the Deadpool gene, which is about the reddest gargoyle gecko you can get. This could be a great way to do that if that's the sort of thing you're into. Another one for geckos would be Altitude Exotics. I believe that it's all crested geckos for the most part, but their sales are very cool and unique and intuitive. Every hour on the hour for the entirety of Black Friday, starting at about 10 o'clock, the deals get better and better and better. So there's a bit of a risk reward here, right? You see something you like, you want to get the best deal, right? But maybe someone else snags that up with an earlier deal. So if you wait long enough, you can get the craziest deal possible. However, you could lose out on your animal. Something else that's really, really cool is that it's free shipping for their Black Friday sale. So you don't gotta worry about the extra things that are being added to the cost. So very cool things. If you're into a crested gecko, definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun watching the sales and whatnot. I came very close to getting one of his animals one year. Very, very, very close. But I held off. Kind of regret it. I think it looked kind of like that little orange one that you see at the end. And then finally, to end it with the auctions, would be Palmstreet. Palmstreet is a little bit newer, at least with the ball pythons that I know of. Now looking looking at this site right now, you might think like, what the heck are you trying to show me right now? A bunch of crystals and leaves and cactus. But no. We took a little bit of a screen grab from Best Dressed Balls when they did their live auction earlier today as we're recording this on Thanksgiving. And you can kind of see here that it's a live auction. So it's a live stream that you are bidding on the animal right in front of your eyes, right then and there. You can do giveaways, you can do all sorts of awesome things. You can check the upcoming animals that are going to be available, and you can message and ask questions as well as live stream chat that's available. It's a bit of a more intuitive experience where it's kind of like an actual auction in person in a way. Very cool. You can kind of bid in just little increments. It's pretty easy to just kind of swipe right and bid as it kind of goes up, or you can kind of open it up and start, placing your own custom bids on there, so you can kind of jack it up and kind of throw a wad of cash down to try to chase off a bunch of other bidders, I guess, if that's something that you want to do. It's cool. Honestly, I had a little bit of an experience for it there, and I can say right off the bat, my first experience was very neat. Quite frankly, I'm kind of inspired to maybe do a full-fledged video on it. If you'd like to see that, let us know in the comments, because I'm kind of liking it. I'm kind of digging it, not gonna lie. But that'll do it for this week. I hope that you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I really appreciate you guys always coming and checking these videos out, even when I'm sick like I am right now. So we'll end it there. Hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you in the next one.